I'm Anthony on Life, and in this video, I'm going to give you 2 tips that you can use to be more confident in 2021. And if you want to take it a step further, I'm also giving away a free 30-day confidence calendar with 30 different activities and challenges that you can use to build more confidence. All you have to do to get that free confidence calendar is subscribe to this channel and comment down below and tell me why you want to be more confident. That's it. Before we get into everything, the natural question is, why should you take my advice? Well, I wasn't always a confident person, and I had to build it and work on it over time, so it's not something that comes naturally to me, so I feel like I'm in a good position to help you figure out how to get to be more confident. And if you're curious about how confident I am, consider the fact that I'm a fat guy that owns a successful gym. You gotta be confident to pull that off. So we need to start with a little bit of a backstory in order for you to understand how I built confidence over the years in my adult life. When I was in my early 20s, I was working for a company that was a franchise location, and the franchisee owner was selling their location back to the corporate company, and the corporate company was going to replace the entire staff with corporate employees. I was out of a job. But the franchisee owner had just signed a new contract for a territory a few states away in Pennsylvania, and they offered me a job working down there. I didn't really want to move, but I felt like I had no choice and my back was against the wall. So in a 2-week period, my entire life was flipped upside down, and I moved from New Hampshire down to Pennsylvania. I distinctly remember the moment I shut the door of my new apartment behind me when my dad and my friend had just hit the road after dropping me off. I walked up the stairs to this new apartment I had never seen before that day. It was more or less completely empty, save for a couch, a TV, and a bed. I sat down on the couch and I had a straight up panic attack. Not only was I living away from home for the first time, I had gone to college in state in New Hampshire. I was in a new area. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family. And strangely enough, I was also working the pre-sale part of this business, so there was no coworkers for me yet either. I was completely responsible for interviewing people, hiring the staff, making the schedule, coordinating all the deliveries for everything we needed to get started. I was 100% going to be living and operating on my own, and it freaked me out. But being a young, healthy person, I realized, okay, I'm not having a heart attack. I think I'm having a panic attack, and I just waited it out, and eventually I calmed down. And that moment right there sticks out to me quite a bit in my life because I feel like I realized, okay, something scary just happened and I survived it. I can do this. I can make it through this. And over the next couple months, as I did my job, I got more comfortable being on my own. So that brings us to our first tip, which is to be more patient. Oftentimes, people are very reactionary. Something happens and they respond to it right away. I think this problem is getting worse because of social media. We're so used to receiving messages and notifications and responding, replying to them right away, and we're constantly being barraged. But if you just take a moment, take a deep breath, let things settle and be patient, sometimes you realize that things aren't quite as bad as they seem. So tip number 1 is to be more patient. After a few months of living in Pennsylvania, I realized that wasn't the job for me. So I did what any person would do, and I quit. I just moved back to New Hampshire without any plan. And this was the next step in my life that I look back on and think that this was a big turning point in building confidence. I don't recommend that anyone just quits their job without a plan in place, but I did realize that as scary as that was, it's not the end of the world. I did land on my feet. I was able to find work. Even if what I did temporarily wasn't what I wanted to do for my career, it was a stopgap to get me by until I figured things out. I eventually started working for a startup company, and I worked there for a couple of years, and then I realized that I was plateauing in my career and there wasn't really anywhere for me to go. So realizing I had plateaued, I had figured out another career path for myself, and I put in my notice and I started my new career. No, that's not what happened at all. I apparently didn't learn from my first time quitting my job, and I set a hard end date for myself, and I said if things don't change by this date, I'm going to quit. I talked with my employer. Lo and behold, they weren't willing to make any adjustments to the way things were done, or my compensation, or my schedule, or anything, so I quit my job. In that time, I had so many people reach out to me offering me employment. I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe it's time I work for me. That's when I started my own business. And that has been the biggest confidence builder in my entire life. And I know what you're thinking. This is terrible advice. I can't just go out and start a business. That's actually not the point. The reason why owning a business has been so good in building my confidence is for the reason of responsibility. When you own a business, the buck stops with you. If you are an employee, you can always deflect a problem to a manager or to the owner of the company. Yes, you might have to take some responsibility as an employee, but there's always someone you can refer to if necessary. When you own a business, no matter what the problem is, whether it's a problem with a customer or a problem with the facility itself or a problem with the taxes or the government or whatever, you are the one that has to figure it out. So it's not necessarily the fact that I own a business that built confidence, but the fact that I had to regularly and every single day, day in, day out, and every week had to take responsibility for so many things. And that is something that you can apply to your life no matter what. Taking more responsibility will build more confidence. And let me explain how that works. It's actually pretty simple. When you take responsibility for things, you have to be a problem solver. You have to find solutions that work. And the more problems you solve, the more confidence you build because you realize that you are smart enough, brave enough, powerful enough, whatever, to get it done. You have the tools to get it done. You have the ability to fix problems, and that will build your confidence like nothing else. There are tons of tips out there about dressing nice and standing up straight and cleaning your room or whatever, and that's all good advice, but being more patient and taking more responsibility will have a bigger impact than anything else. And like I said, if you want to take it a step further and take those actions of being patient and being more responsible and putting them into play, download that free confidence calendar by subscribing to this channel and commenting down below why you want to be more confident. I'm Anthony on Life. Thanks so much for watching, and you will see me in the next video.